Let's get back to finding length in your glutes, what it is and what it isn't. I went through with you how to start to play around with finding some length in a hands and knees position. And now we are going to come to standing. I really find that doing this in a staggered stance first is a lot easier than using the feet in a bilateral stance or where they are the same distance apart from one another. A staggered stance just tends to be a little bit easier for most people. So what we want to think about whenever we are doing a hinge, whenever we're trying to find length in the glutes, what we don't want to see is this, okay? This is not it. I don't know how else to say it, but you're not lengthening anything when you're doing that. When you look at me doing this, it almost looks kind of like a dog tucking its tail under, right? And that's not how we want to look or feel, honestly. We don't want to be like, oh, I don't know, am I doing it right? Like, it should be like, oh, hell yeah, like I'm owning this. That's how we want to feel when we are doing any sort of hinging movement. So you want to make sure as you're doing this that when you go back, so you're going to start from standing, when you go back, your hips go back, your knee stays in the same spot, and you're going to let that hip go back, that hip go back, that hip go back, that hip go back. Do you see how right here my butt looks bigger here than here? And we want that. I want your butt to look big. So you can even kind of get in a position where you're in this half hinge, if you will. So you just start from standing, get in this staggered stance. Right here, I just have my big toe is in line with my heel. I have my left side is my working side. I want to make sure I feel very heavy on my left side. I don't want to still be leaning over to the right. Very heavy on the left side. I'm going to gently bend that left knee, okay? All I want you to do is think about getting some weight into the middle of your foot. Mid-foot. We want to be centered over the midfoot. This is not centered over the midfoot. This is not centered over the midfoot. This is centered over the midfoot. From here, what's going to happen is you're going to let that left knee come forward, left hip go back. Left knee come forward, left hip go back. And you're going to reach a spot where you're like, I don't like, my glute is like stretching. Oh my God. Like you're going to feel it back in here. And that is a good thing. Okay. Now you want to make sure when you're in this position that you haven't lost your connection with ribs down, deep core up. That's really important. Now, when you look at yourself in a video doing this, I want you to look for these points. Shoulders above hips, hips above knees, knee forward of ankle, okay? Do you see how I look almost kind of like a little zigzag here? That's the way I want you to look. So look at yourself and see if you can make those straight lines. What I don't want is a curved line. And I don't want a straight line here, okay? So no curves here. There are no curves in anything that we're doing right now. Only curve is your nice butt curve right here. That's the only curve we've got. All right, now, when you go to stand up out of this, you have to use that length to stand up. Don't you dare tuck this under and then stand up. We're trying to make this strong, so you have to use it to stand up, okay? You're gonna go from here and you're gonna think about your knees staying in the same spot and you're gonna push forward with this glute. Don't tuck it under. You don't need to tuck it under to stand up. Your glutes are made to help your hips extend. You're gonna go from here, keep your weight in your midfoot and push, push, knee stays in the same spot. Push, knee stays in the same spot. Push, knee stays in the same spot. Push, push, push. And at the very top, then you can straighten your knee. But you will have used your glute to push you all the way through. That's how we make glutes stronger. They need to lengthen to strengthen. We lengthen them and then we use that lengthened muscle to push our hips forward. So make sure when you are doing any hinging, you're checking in with yourself. You need to look similar to the way that I did. Again, your body is not going to look exactly like mine, but there are major checkpoints that you should be checking off. You need to have your head in a straight line with your body. You don't want your chin down or your head up like this, okay? The other thing we want to make sure of is that you have your shoulders above your hips. We're never going to be here. Nothing in our program that we're doing is going to have your shoulders at the same line as your hips, okay? Shoulders are going to be above your hips will be above your knee will be in front of your ankle, all right? Those are your checkpoints. You're making sure ribs down, deep core up, and then you're going to be able to stand up and out of your hip. Your hip is going to be the thing that's pushing you forward. You're not going to be standing up and out of your low back. All right, hopefully that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.